Hello everyone, it's me, Elisa Vardomska, glad to welcome you to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about what kind of women men like. Today we will talk about those women who are a muse for men, the inspiration of women whom men love, carry in their arms, do not let go, and admire. Often, this happens in life with women who are not the ones that look like they came out of a picture, but rather completely ordinary, simple girls. But in this video, we will figure out why some girls are very much loved by men, while others are overlooked. Before we move on to the discussion of this video, I ask you to click the subscribe button and like this video so that it gets recommended and as many people as possible can see it. So, let's get started. At the top of the list is indeed optimism. Every man wants to be around a woman who is cheerful and fun. And yes, this doesn't mean that you have to laugh and giggle 24/7. Oh, not at all. But optimism should prevail in you more than pessimism. That is, if you are beautiful, well-groomed, perhaps developing in some area and everything seems great, but you constantly complain about life, you always say that something is wrong, you don't like something, you are dissatisfied with what you have. That is, your focus shifted to the negatives rather than the positives. And if you look closely, there is a lot of beauty in your life, but you are focused on the negative. Be prepared for the fact that no man will stay with you for long, for one simple reason. A man often takes everything personally, and if there is a woman next to him who is dissatisfied, constantly complaining, meaning she is always suffering, that something is always wrong, that everything is bad, and at that moment the man thinks that he is probably not the right man for this woman. He thinks that he cannot make this woman happy, that she needs someone else. At that moment, the man sees the problem in himself and thinks, therefore, I cannot make her happy. And here the priority is such. If you are happy next to a woman, it means you made the right choice. Naturally, if the woman is happy, the man next to her is happy. A woman creates an environment around herself if she is satisfied with life, if she laughs, if she is joyful, if she enjoys herself, the man easily senses this state. And he is ready to be in this environment always. That is, he feels comfortable, he feels good, he is energized, he is next to a woman, an optimist, someone who is charged up, ready to move mountains, and he likes his state, and he understands that he makes this woman happy. That is why, if you recognize yourself in this moment, meaning you are more focused on the negative, just practice this every day. Try to cut off some negativity and see something beautiful. We often undervalue our achievements in the pursuit of something bigger, better, and do not notice how much we have accomplished. So, if you recognize yourself in this moment, think about what you have achieved over the past year or several years. Who were you and who have you become now? Is this unhappiness? Is this ingratitude towards oneself? So, by simply shifting your focus, for example, from negative moments to positive ones, you can always look at the situation from a different angle. Something went wrong. You had a quarrel with someone, perhaps someone said something unpleasant, negative, and now you are in this negativity, boiling over, unable to calm down. Find the positives in this situation. Perhaps the person opened your eyes to yourself, perhaps opened your eyes to a situation, or maybe showed themselves in a way that you needed to see them. Therefore, even in the most negative situation, you can find some positive moments for yourself. If you become a seeker of optimism, looking for something good in each day, at some point you will realize that you have transformed from a boring, whiny person complaining about life into someone who enjoys this life. Moving on. Having one's own position, often men, without realizing it, at the very beginning of a relationship want, without suspecting that they can, to destroy their own relationships. They kind of transmit to the girl that they want her to share their opinions, tastes, and desires, meaning she should be the person who agrees with him on everything. However, this is a dead-end position, and often girls agree to it. The girl, for example, hasn't had a long relationship, and then she meets him. He's handsome, wonderful, interesting. She hangs on his every word, and he says he likes girls who behave a certain way, say certain things, and she absorbs all of this thinking, I will be like that, I don't want to lose this man, I will be like that. And she gives up, for example, her own certain positions, and she stops expressing her opinions about certain situations. In other words, she has given up a bit of herself, and what happens at that moment? It would seem that a man should like it, but the man senses the insincerity. That is, she may not like something, she may not like a certain situation, some of his words or his behavior, but she swallows it, remains silent in some places, and doesn't express her emotions. The man senses the insincerity. He doesn't understand what's happening, but this woman starts to appear dishonest to him. So, one should not pretend and not be afraid in relationships. It is necessary to be oneself. And a woman who knows her worth, who knows what she wants, does not pretend. She has her own opinion, her own interests and achievements. And what happens? She attracts like a magnet. In her presence, one wants to be. A man wants to be next to a complete individual, not with someone who agrees with every word he says. Oh. He wants her to be a whole personality. So do not betray yourself. Be yourself. This is indeed what is necessary. If a woman puts her desires first, neither the desires of a man, nor children, nor any relatives, if you putting your interests, desires, and preferences above all else means you are happy in this life. That is, you enjoy this life, and naturally, such women are not overlooked by men. They generally like to be with women who are happy with their lives. And being in this field, a man also feels happy. So even if a man tells you that he wants you to agree with all his opinions, he doesn't realize that this is a dead end. It is necessary to remain yourself and be an interesting personality. Only then will you live your happy life and lose your partner's feelings towards you. Furthermore, yes, if you conform over time, you create the impression of being boring, convenient, and uninteresting. Surely no one wants to give up their desires, interests, and preferences, but on top of that, ultimately you will also become convenient, uninteresting, and boring. And this is not the girl who is courted, not the girl who is given flowers, not the girl who inspires. This is not the girl who is carried on hands. Next, intelligence. But let me say right away, what is intelligence about in this point? Intelligence is when a woman develops, she moves forward, she is interested in her life, she does not stand still, she has her own goals and preferences, but she is not the woman who snaps her intelligence at a man. That is a woman who does not compete with a man. When a man sees an interesting developing woman to whom there is something to talk about, here she has experienced something new. She shares her emotions and experiences. Perhaps she asks for his advice. And this exchange, when he grows and develops, she grows and develops, they move forward together. This is growth and such harmonious development of a couple. But if one person in the couple does not develop, then that person may eventually either turn into a servant, a convenient person, or remain, let's say, left behind. Then, when one person grows and the other becomes boring, a replacement is found for them. Next, grooming. Well, every woman probably knows about this. For some reason, it is still neglected. Often with this word grooming, I explain that there is no time. When can I do this? When can I do that? When can I do this? It's simply from a usual unwillingness. Remember yourself on the first dates. You were getting ready. Some magic was happening. You dressed up, adorned yourself, and it brought you pleasure. It diversified your life. You didn't go on dates, for example, in curlers and sweatpants. No. How would you attract a man looking like that? There were some dresses, skirts, sundresses, hairstyles, and you enjoyed this game, and your man enjoyed it too. But for some reason, when a woman gets a stamp in her passport, children appear. She believes that there is no need to do all this, that one doesn't need to be an inspiration for her man, doesn't need to be beautiful for him, or even for herself. How a woman's mood lifts when she takes care of herself. A couple of minutes, a day is enough to style your hair, do a light makeup, and wear a dress or sundress in the summer. And now you are already in a great mood because the reflection in the mirror brings you joy. You run happily, maybe receiving some compliments, and that too cannot help but bring joy. So, a woman who remains beautiful throughout her life, who takes care of herself, who strives to be beautiful, elegant, and well-groomed for herself first, will always be beautiful to men. But if a woman gives up on herself and says, I need to help my children now, I need to raise my kids, then my grandchildren, she may find herself alone. At around 40, 50 years old, because a man has found another woman who takes care of herself, who is beautiful, who hasn't worn herself out. Therefore, it is necessary to strive to be well-groomed and beautiful. And yes, there are women who do not necessarily have to be on diets and torture themselves to be some kind of beauty ideal, an ideal from a magazine cover. The most important thing is a well-groomed appearance. A man often sees the overall picture. That is, if you are smiling, light, interesting, funny, well-groomed, and pleasant to look at, a man will certainly want to be around you. Next, no criticism. Men really, really do not like criticism. They do not accept it at all. And in general, for a man to say the word sorry, even if he understands that he is at fault in a certain situation, means to show some kind of weakness. A smart woman who is next to a man does not criticize him. She may guide him in certain moments. She notices his strengths. She tells him how great he is, that he has achieved this and that, such results. If he asks her for advice, she will definitely say what she thinks. But if a woman is with a man saying, "Oh, you hung that wrong, as always. Your hands are hooks at work, of course. That's how you stand out," and so on. When a woman highlights a man in a negative light, he becomes even worse. That is, what is the point of changing if he understands that he is seen in a negative light? His beloved woman sees only his flaws. Well, then one can be like that. Therefore, as you name the ship, so it will sail. So, if you see your man in a positive light, highlighting his best qualities, and he understands that you are revealing him, because when we love and are with our loved ones, we immediately see something very good in that person. And then in moments of strong infatuation, we become better. But over time, feelings dull, and for some reason it happens that a woman starts to criticize a man, and the man in turn starts to criticize the woman, and then nothing is desired anymore. So if we say no to criticism, and even if you see that something is wrong, the man knows he has done something wrong himself. If the woman remains silent, meaning she acts wisely, the man understands what a treasure he has, that she does not criticize, she supports, she is there, and does not point out his mistakes, but rejoices in his achievements. Of course, a man will be happy with such a woman and will not look or think about where to find that necessary state elsewhere. Next, the inner state, femininity. This is what one must strive for. A lot has already been said about femininity. A feminine woman is one who masters her state, one who does not fight with a man, does not assert her positions by force. A feminine woman is one who is in a state of happiness. She does something pleasant for herself. She knows how to enjoy her life. She knows how to rejoice. She knows how to create a happy atmosphere around her. That is, she is energized. She illuminates her home. She fills everything around her with love. A feminine woman has happy children who grow up wonderfully, and her family is beautiful, and her husband the most worthy. In this field of happiness and love, everything develops harmoniously. But if you start to play a masculine role, that is, take on the mindset of, I can do everything, I will achieve everything, I will show my husband who's boss, I can manage without him, nothing will work out. You then take on a masculine role, and of course the man next to you will not be the kind of man you secretly desire. Every woman wants a strong man beside her. Even a very strong woman wants a man who is stronger than her, who will say, "Don't worry, I will help you, we will solve your problems." Someone who is ready to take on difficult situations. Every woman dreams of having a strong man beside her. But for some reason, it happens that some women start to prove to their man that they are better, stronger, that the man is worthless, and so on. Therefore, this is certainly not about femininity. Femininity is even such a melodic word. That is, femininity is about feminine pleasure, about enjoyment. When a woman is satisfied with herself, satisfied with her life, she is alluring, she is attractive. A man wants to be around such a woman. He wants to admire her and wants to achieve great heights for her. And the naturalness of behavior. If you choose a certain role for yourself, for example, you have imagined that you will be this vulnerable, dreamy little girl inside. But you want to appear as a femme fatale. Then you have hidden that little girl inside somewhere, the one who needs to be dressed in pink dresses and cared for by a man. Do you want to present yourself as some kind of femme fatale? With bright red lipstick, independent. A man, even if he likes this appearance at first, may later realize that something is off, meaning the external and internal do not match. Therefore, it is necessary to be yourself. If you are a sensitive soul, of vulnerable nature, emotional and sensitive, the man who likes you will be happy just to have such a woman by his side. If, on the contrary, you are certainly all bold, let's say, as a woman, you don't need to play other roles. You need to be yourself. Every man has his own image, an ideal woman he strives for. So, when a man seemingly finds his ideal and there are internal inconsistencies, meaning she is ideal externally, but something is off internally, he stops believing and starts looking for another woman. That is, he does not understand why he does not trust this woman, and he simply catches himself thinking that this woman is not right for him. So, that's all I have for this video. I was with you, Alisa Vardomska. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you would like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell, and goodbye everyone.